The dropship screamed through the fractured atmosphere of Varelius 9, carving trails of fire across a sky forever veiled in ash. Inside the lead vessel, High Warlord Khazir Thok leaned over a holodeble, tail coiled in irritation, claws tapping out a slow, sharp rhythm. "Scout units report no resistance," barked Commander Val, his voice rasping through the comms. "Yet we've already lost 6 squads to unknowns." Khazir's golden eyes narrowed. "Unknowns? Elaborate." "Signals cease mid-transmission. No weapon discharges. Just silence. Then static." Khazir exhaled steam. "Push forward. Wipe this moon clean. The humans must know what fear feels like." The hatch hissed open. Blazing heat rolled in. Dust swirled. Their boots crunched down on blackened soil where the bones of terraforming towers jutted from the ground like broken ribs. A red sun burned through the haze overhead. Then they saw it. A Jato regiment, at least 200 strong, lay in contorted heaps across the valley, their armor melted, weapons untouched. No blood. No signs of a firefight. Atop a smoldering gunship sat a figure. Human. Barefoot. Lean. His clothes were ragged, but not torn. He reclined like a king surveying a conquered land, head tilted toward the smoke-filled heavens. He was laughing. "Identify," Khazir hissed. The war net fed back nothing. No IFF tags. No battle record. The human wasn't listed in any database. As if hearing them, the man looked down and smiled, casual, unbothered. He lifted a small device to his mouth and clicked a button. A transmission burst onto the open comms. "You brought 80,000 troops to catch me? By morning you'll be lucky if one of you's left to crawl home. Sniper teams, target him," Khazir ordered. 10 scopes locked on. 10 rounds fired. The figure vanished before the shots reached him, leaving only the slow ripple of heat where he'd been. Then came the whisper. "Welcome to Varelius." 2 hours later, Recon Squad 7 failed to report in. They were last seen entering the irrigation tunnels beneath the central crater. Their audio feed ended with a burst of laughter, his laughter. Inside Khazir's mobile command station, silence reigned. The war net flickered. Maps glitched, showing enemy blips where none should be. Commander Val paced. "We are being toyed with." "I don't believe in ghosts," Khazir growled. "I do," said a voice from the shadows. Lieutenant Sex, a veteran of the Tarkhan Rebellion, eyes wide, lips tight. "I fought humans once. On Juno's fall. My squad died screaming in the dark. We never saw what hit us. We thought it was a myth then, too," Khazir snarled. "Myth or not, we have orbital supremacy. Scan the whole moon." Orbital Command's response was swift. "Thermals show no human life signs. Only ours." "Explain the footage," Khazir snapped. No one could. That night, Jato forces spread across the valley like a living carpet, heavy infantry, walkers, drone scouts, all synchronized and humming with mechanical efficiency. Protocol dictated total control by morning. But midnight brought screams. Short bursts, distant shouts, and then nothing. Units reporting minor contact vanished seconds later. Drones failed mid-flight. Walkers powered down without warning. Khazir stood before the hologrid, watching entire platoons flicker out like dying embers. Each disappearance followed the same pattern: silence, static, then laughter. No visuals. No body cams. Just a stillness that didn't belong. He received a new transmission. It wasn't encrypted. It wasn't even hidden. It played on every Jato visor, broadcast across their entire network. "You're not at war. You're in a demonstration. We want you to see." The screen showed one of Khazir's own officers, bound, but untouched. Behind him, the human stood, Ren, the laughing one, calm, collected. "I'll let him go," Ren said, tone light. "He wasn't rude. Just scared. You should all be scared." A whisper cut through the broadcast. "This moon belongs to us now." Then the officer's eyes widened, then his entire body collapsed, dust pouring from his mouth, as if he'd turned to ash from within. Khazir slammed a clawed fist onto the holotable. "Who is this thing?" "Ghost Division," Zex whispered. "Black Cell. The Terrans deny it exists. Even their allies claim it's just a scare tactic. But the few who survive swear it's real. And you believe this lone human destroyed an entire legion?" Zex didn't answer. He didn't need to. Khazir turned to Val. "Deploy all reserves. Secure the northern ridge and reinforce tunnels. We will scour this planet if we must." The ridge team moved within minutes. 40 soldiers. Heavily armed. Elite. Cameras tracked them to their location, until they reached the ridge. Then their lights went out. An hour later, their commander's helmet was found placed gently at the entrance of Khazir's personal command tent. Inside it, a note. "You still don't understand. You didn't bring enough." Dawn loomed. The Jato command was fractured. Officers second-guessed orders. Soldiers whispered of demons, of a human who wore shadows and smiled at death. Khazir stood alone in his command chamber. A distant shape moved in the dust outside. The same human. Ren. He stared into the cameras, as if he knew exactly where to look. And then he laughed again. Just once. Sharp. Cold. A promise. The northern ridge, once bristling with Jato firepower, now stood silent under a choking blanket of mist. Drones dispatched to survey the site returned blank footage, their feeds scrambled by static. Heat signatures? Gone. Life signs? Absent. Just fog. Dense, unnatural, and spreading. Inside the forward ops center, Khazir stared at a flickering holomap. 40 soldiers, elite, trained for planetary siege, had vanished in under an hour without firing a shot. The commander's helmet, retrieved hours ago, was now locked in containment. It hadn't been tampered with. No wounds. No breach. Just left like a message. "This is psychological warfare," Commander Val muttered, circling the holomap. "A human mind game." "No," whispered Zex. "This is execution." Khazir ignored the chill creeping down his spine. "Send in flame teams. Burn the ridge clear." Val nodded. Within minutes, columns of fire troopers and radiation suits moved in, weapons flaring blue. The fog hissed and shifted, curling away like it was alive. Then came the sound, barely audible at first. A low hum. Not mechanical. A lullaby. Human. Female voice. Singing softly in Old Earth English. The same few words, over and over. "Hush now, soldier, don't make a sound. The dark comes quick when no one's around." The first flame team screamed 20 seconds later. Body cams caught only brief flashes, a face in the mist, movement at impossible angles, black tendrils unfurling from the fog. Then static. Hours later, Khazir reviewed what little remained. One clip, barely 4 seconds long, showed the mist parting just enough to reveal a silhouette, tall, human, arms outstretched, fog clinging to his shoulders like a cape. The singing faded as he walked straight toward the camera. Then silence. The warlord's claws tapped against the steel table. "That's him again." Elias ran. Zex confirmed. "Confirmed kill count from previous campaigns is classified. He doesn't lead armies. He erases them." "Biological weapon?" Val offered. "We're not dealing with standard Terran units." "No," Zex said. "This is personal." In the cavern systems beneath the colony, patrols found traces of human tech. Small, sleek devices tucked into walls. Some embedded into rock itself, pulsing faintly. Specialists examined one. Before they could begin analysis, it detonated, not in fire, but in light. Every soldier within 100 meters lost consciousness instantly. Not dead. Not wounded. Just still. Breathing but inert. As if switched off. Ren left another message, this time through the base intercom. "Calm. Friendly. If you're looking for your men, check sublevel Gamma. You'll find them dreaming." They did. 20 soldiers curled on the floor, eyes open, lips parted, humming the lullaby. By dusk, fear had gripped the camp. Rumors spread. Wren could walk through walls. He spoke into minds. He wasn't a soldier, he was a specter. Veterans muttered about the black files, missions wiped from the record. Khazir stormed through the barracks. Contain this madness. He is one man. Zex approached, holding a shattered visor. So was your father when the YVR took him. Numbers don't save you from something you don't understand. Khazir shoved him aside. Enough myths. We make our stand here. Full lockdown. Heat scan every sector. Kill anything human-shaped. The scans came back clean. Too clean. No heat outside. Not even wildlife. Not even insects. Only Jatil signatures remained on the moon. Then they found the air filtration units. Every major base's scrubbers had been quietly modified. Replaced filters. Advanced nanoorganic spores had been introduced, undetectable, engineered for Jatil biology. Non-lethal, but precise. The soldiers weren't dying. They were being calmed, chemically tranquilized into docility. One by one, soldiers began to sit in place, weapons laid down gently, humming that song. That soft, mocking lullaby. No gunfire. No alarms. Just surrender, manufactured in silence. Orbital Command demanded a status update. Khazir lied, said progress was steady, that the Terran threat was being eliminated. He needed more time. He needed a miracle. Then the lights in his command bunker cut out. Emergency protocols triggered, red floods igniting the halls. Khazir drew his blade. Val. Report. No answer. The door opened. Elias Wren stood there, unarmed, hands in his coat pockets, a half-smile on his face. His boots left no sound as he stepped inside. You're slower than the others, he said. Khazir raised his weapon. You're surrounded. No, Wren said, tilting his head. You are. A cold presence pressed in. Shadows moved behind Khazir, his guards collapsing wordlessly to the floor. No screams. No struggle. What are you? Khazir spat. I'm what you find when you dig too deep, Wren replied. You thought this moon was an asset. It was bait. Khazir's claws trembled. We will recover. We'll bring reinforcements. No, you won't. Your comms are dead. Your fleet? Blind. I've already spoken to your admirals. They just don't know it was me. Wren turned, walking toward the exit. Why let me live? Khazir called. Wren paused at the threshold. Because stories need someone left to tell them. And then he was gone. That night, Khazir stood alone at the center of the base. No soldiers. No noise. Just wind and dust. He activated the emergency beacon, knowing it would never reach orbit. From the darkness, the lullaby returned. Faint. Mocking. The fog rolled in once more. High Warlord Khazir Thok stood in the ruins of his forward command. The bunker's reinforced walls were intact, but empty. Desolate. His army, 80,000 strong, was silent now, scattered or worse. His claws clicked against his sidearm. No more illusions. No more underestimating. Elias Wren was not a rumor. He was real. And Khazir had made a fatal mistake treating him like prey. Outside, the planet remained eerily calm. Fog had lifted, revealing a graveyard of machinery and scorched armor. Still no bodies. Commander Val? Khazir's voice rasped over the private comms. No answer. Zex? Static. He checked the signal logs. Internal network activity was spiking, but not from Jatil devices. The Terran had infiltrated their command protocols. Worse, he was using them. Then came the feed. A live stream across every functioning visor. Jatil officers stood in dark halls, mouths moving, guns raised, against each other. Confused squads opened fire on friendlies. Screaming echoed down corridors. A single line blinked across the bottom of every display. He speaks in your voice. On board the Jato dreadnought Valak in orbit, Admiral Trax sat frozen as his fleet's AI relayed strange internal signals. Ships receiving conflicting commands. Shields powering down without orders. Auto-targeting systems flickering. Is the surface transmitting to us? The Admiral barked. No, the AI replied. It's coming from inside the fleet. A moment later, the Valak's interior lights dimmed. Across every screen, the same face appeared. Human. Calm. Casual. Ren. Admiral, he said with a slight smile. You've left your windows open. The ship's gravity reversed for exactly 3 seconds. Screams filled the decks. Back on Varelius 9, Khazir stalked the dark tunnels beneath the colony. No guards left. No chain of command. Only uncertainty and the echo of his own breathing. The deeper he went, the stranger it became. Messages scrawled in Jatil blood. Human nursery rhymes playing from hidden speakers. Flashlights dimming without power loss. He reached what used to be the subterranean reactor vault. The door stood open. The lights flickered. And there sat Elias Wren, cross-legged, a small metal sphere floating beside him. You came, Wren said. Khazir leveled his weapon. I should kill you. Could have tried that yesterday. Wren's grin was a knife. Didn't go well, remember? Khazir didn't shoot. His claws twitched. What are you doing here? What do you want? I want you to carry a message, Wren said, rising slowly. Back to your empire. Back to your emperor. Tell him, we see you. We know your routes. Your algorithms. Your command signatures. We've mapped your whole machine. You're bluffing. Wren stepped forward. The floating sphere behind him shifted, showing flickers of Jato battle plans, command codes, even genetic sequencing. You think I spent a night dismantling your army? Wren asked. This started years ago. You just never noticed. We needed the right moment. A clean demonstration. Khazir's breath caught. Why not kill us all? We will, Wren said without malice. But not today. First, we needed you to understand. He moved closer. I'm not a hero. I'm a lesson. At that moment, back in orbit, the Valak's self-defense systems activated without command. Plasma batteries fired into empty space, then turned inward. Bulkheads exploded. Dozens dead in seconds. The Admiral choked on his own orders. Wren had compromised the very idea of control. Khazir fled the vault. No resistance. No pursuit. Just his own ragged breath and the eerie feeling that the walls were watching. Outside, a single dropship waited, engines cold but running. He climbed aboard without a word, activated manual launch, and began the slow rise toward orbit. As the moon shrank below, he looked down and saw them. Dozens of human figures, perfectly still, standing across the valley like statues. Motionless. Watching. He didn't recognize a single one. Inside the Terran observation vessel Noxomnia, Elias Wren removed his coat and sat down beside the projection table. An AI flickered to life beside him. Mission parameters complete? Phase 1, Wren said. Confirmed casualties? Minimal. Their own mistakes did most of it. The AI processed for a moment. Orders? Let him return. Let him speak. The Empire will hesitate. That's all we need. Until? Wren leaned back, closed his eyes. Until we stop being underestimated. Dawn crept across Varelius 9 like a thief with nowhere left to hide. The fog was gone. The wind was still. For the first time in days, the sun bled through the upper clouds, casting golden light on a world gutted by silence. No voices. No movement. No army. High Warlord Khazir Thok watched from orbit, his ship one of only 3 left intact. His claws rested on the edge of the viewplate, shaking, not from fear, but from something worse. Helplessness. Scan the surface, he ordered. His bridge crew, reduced to a skeleton watch, hesitated then obeyed. No Jatel signals, the officer whispered. Not one. No heat. No EM trails. No active comms. Just nothing. Khazir didn't reply. He didn't blink. His mind was still anchored in the moment he'd left, when the Terran walked into his command like a man crossing a street. Elias Wren hadn't come to fight. He came to dismantle belief. Behind Khazir, the view screens switched without input. A grainy image emerged, live feed from the moon's surface. A wide aerial shot of the battlefield. Armor. Weapons. Ships. All still in place. But not a single body. Then the camera zoomed. Wren stood alone in the center, coat whipping in the breeze, head bowed. Around him, the empty suits of Jatel soldiers had been arranged in a perfect spiral, stretching outward like a ritual. Not burned. Not destroyed. Just vacant. As if their wearers had stepped out of them and vanished. Khazir gritted his teeth. What did he do? No one answered. Because no one knew. Far below, on the ridge overlooking the wasteland, Wren walked slowly between the hollow suits. He paused here and there, inspecting them, like a gardener tending rows of plants. A voice crackled in his earpiece. You've made your point. It was General Stevos, calling from high command, deep within the Terran core worlds. We said make a demonstration. Stavos continued. This was an eradication. Wren stopped. He looked up at the rising sun. No. This was a conversation. Stavos sighed. And what do you think the Jatel are hearing? That they're not at the top of the food chain anymore. Back in orbit, Khazir watched helplessly as the last transmission from the planet came through. One final message from Wren. It was short. Direct. Next time, send diplomats. No threat. No demands. Just a reminder that this entire horror, was the gentle version. Khazir's comms chief turned to him. What do we tell the Empire? Khazir's mouth was dry. The truth. Which part? Khazir stared out the viewplate. Below, Varelius 9 turned slowly, serene and untouchable. All of it. 6 cycles later, the Jatel Imperial Council gathered behind closed walls. 12 warlords, 50 admirals, hundreds of delegates. The report was read aloud by a trembling envoy. 80,000 dead. No survivors. No prisoners. No known Terran casualties. He hesitated. Then continued. Unknown mechanisms of execution. No confirmed combat. All units neutralized without alerting orbital sensors. Command network compromised. Strategic integrity breached. Psychological stability of returning officers rated critical. Whispers rippled through the chamber. Then silence. Finally, an aged counselor leaned forward. What do the humans want? Khazir stood in the center, bearing scars no medicine could touch. He looked every one of them in the eye. They didn't say. But I don't think they need anything. Another voice spoke. Should we retaliate? Khazir answered immediately. No. Back on Varelius 9, dusk approached again. Shadows stretched long across the land. Elias Wren sat on a broken piece of Jatel armor, hands resting on his knees. His AI Ava materialized beside him in a shimmer of blue light. All assets recovered. Stealth drones withdrawn. Fog dispersal complete. Atmospheric systems neutralized. Planet secure. Wren nodded. Transmit the final log. To whom? He looked up. Everyone. The message was brief. A video, Wren standing where a city once stood, surrounded by absence. He spoke softly. You call us savages. Emotional. Chaotic. You mistake restraint for weakness. You came to conquer. We came to end the conversation. Varelius was the warning. The next will be the answer. Then he turned and walked away. No grand exit. No explosions. Just a man. Somewhere in deep space, a Jatel cruiser found a Terran beacon floating near an abandoned warp gate. They brought it aboard, expecting sabotage. Inside, Only a single phrase, etched into steel in old Earth Latin. Si vis pacem, para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war.